So close to timing out. Of course, this is a full lobby chock full of multiple languages. That's the great thing about ESL, guys. Maybe you just tuned into the stream and you're like, wow, this stream had a lot of viewers, but I don't speak English. But of course, they're probably more like, oh, I don't speak English or whatever. Anyways, there are multiple streams, multiple languages. You can find them all on Team Liquid. But for now, you're watching on BaseTradeTV. This is the English cast of the Go for StarCraft Monday Premium Cup. We come down to the finals here, a best of 3. I'll talk about that more in a moment between these two titans. €75 up for grabs, 50 for first place, 25 for second. But realistically, guys, I don't think any player in this tournament really cared about the money, or at least the ones who would have made it to the finals anyways. It's all about the practice. So against probably some of the better players, this is one of the better PVZs Snute or TOD are going to have for practice in a long time. At any rate, rambling aside, spawning in the lower central portion of Polar Night, I give to you the Red Zerg player from Team Liquid, sponsored by HyperX, if that's not obvious enough, Liquid Snute. And his opponent over yonder in the north, sponsored by XMG, the Blue Protoss player, TOD. Now we got a bit of a, looks like someone's spiking here a little bit. Hopefully lag doesn't persist through the game. So anyways, I was a bit confused. I said it was going to be a best of 5 finals in the previous cast as well. It's been a best of 5 finals since God knows how long, forever. But I guess Go for StarCraft is becoming a little more lenient on their rules. There was once upon a time where they were the most strict rules of all these online cups, but if players agree to a best of 3, then they can play a best of 3. And these guys said, all right, you know what, let's just best of 3 this. So it's a bit hard to call this coming into it because, again, TOD is a player who just barely missed out on Premier League. Snute is a player who's, of course, in WCS. Both of them are really good players nonetheless and have been around StarCraft 2 for a very, very long time. But Snute is perhaps most known for his disgusting style of play. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, 2 words, swarm hosts. There's been a bit of jokes too through Twitter, like about free money from Swarm Host, not just for Snute, but a lot of other Zerg players. It's weird. There's this. Is dichotomy the right word? I don't think it is. My English is too naive to try using big syllable words, but there's a bit of a difference in opinion from players where you got about half the community who absolutely hate Swarm Hosts. And I'm not talking Terrans or Protoss, I'm talking Zerg players. They refuse to use them. They say these units are stupid. I'll use them if necessary, but I'd love not to, even if you can't, or even if I can't, type thing. But the other half of the community, like Snute, they've embraced Swarm Host. Like, hey, these units, I might not like using them, but they win me games, so I'm going to use them all the time and get really good at it. And as we've seen in recent days, Snute's PVZs have been, well, kind of crazy. There was a match for the WCS Fire Series, Zombie Grub and I cast. Well, it was mostly Zombie Grub because I got DC'd out of the game, but Snute played like what is close to an hour-long game with what was upwards of like 80 Spore Crawlers, like 40 Spine Crawlers, just littering the map with a ton of Swarm Hosts behind them. So that's the potential of where this can go. That being said, Snute is a player who doesn't rely on Swarm Hosts to win him games. There are some players who simply do, and I'm not going to bring up names because I'm not trying to smack talk anybody. I'm just stating facts. For now, though, Snute against TOD, I think on Polar Night, you're going to find yourself very hard-pressed to do any sort of early all-in. It's very easy for Protoss players to defend, and of course, as much as I dream about it every single time I'm on this map, nobody ever uses these back rocks to come from behind, and I don't think Snute or TOD will anytime soon. But Snute gets a scout off on the main, and the key thing he notes is like, okay, there wasn't like that Forge Fast expand. He does have the Cybercore on the way, and while he hasn't scouted this, I guarantee you Snute knows the Nexus is down, and there's probably a wall upcoming too. The Zealot and the Mothership Core coming across the map to poke can certainly kill this Queen, and Snute is a player who I don't know that I would necessarily classify him as greedy, but he does try and go for drones over like Lings early on if he can get away with it. He's going to have a couple of Queens to try and drive this back, but guys, if you don't know, like a Zealot alone can almost solo a Queen. The Mothership Core adds a little bit of just that pepper that you need to really kick it down, and what's this probe going to do? It's gonna put a pylon down back here, I guess. Hide it for now. I mean, TOD's not on a ton of gateways yet, so warping in a ton of units is kind of out of the question. 3 gateways is enough to tear down a third if Snute had it, but Snute didn't go for a fast third. Instead, has a Roach Warren on the way. So whether he's predicting what TOD's doing or just getting some invaluable information off of what little he scouted, he is going to be prepared. There's 2 dangerous things, by the way, in Protoss versus Zerg. If you don't have roaches out, 2 of the most susceptible things you're going to fall towards are A, either losing your 3rd base, which is why Snute hasn't taken this early. It's very easy for unupgraded Zealots to knock this down. Or, if TOD goes for like a +1 weapon timing, it hits, and you've only got Lings, you're going to lose that fight every single time. Now, maybe not the game, because you can hold on eventually, but roaches are a very solid way to come out early with this. Don't know if Snoot's necessarily gearing up for like an all-in per se, or if he's just really worried about an attack, but 18 Lings and drones have been cut for the time being. Again, this is a player who we just recently watched go for like a quick 80 workers versus Terran. Against Protoss, he's playing it a little bit more safe, and I like this. So his drone will get to make this third base. Looks like pylons are not going to get a lot done. Snoot's already on top of this, so Zealots being warped in are going to be a little bit irrelevant for the time being. TOD doesn't quite get the sneak attack in that he wanted to, but Snoot's not going to clean this pylon up very easily anytime soon. There's almost no surface area. Wow, I didn't even know pylon could go back here, but this is like the perfect pylon placement if you can get away with it. At least against Lings. Anyways, 4 Zealots warping in over here on the left side of the map. Unfortunately, the roaches are across, so this is bad for Snute in terms that he can't protect his hatchery, but it's bad for TOD in the fact that he's only got 2 sentries for defense, guys. Where's that mothership core? Across the map, so no overcharge capabilities. Lings may eventually clean this up, but the mothership core is going to have no answer chain anytime soon. Roaches bust through that first pylon. A couple of them getting on top of the sentries. I don't know if he'll be able to kill these sentries. It's going to... we'll get one of them. Pro's being pulled into this too. Ling's going to slip on by, and TOD puts another force field down, but that first one's going to wear off soon. And there's no cannons, there's an Immortals on the way, but there's Lings already through this wall, and Zealots are warping in. I think TOD should be able to eventually push this back, but holding is going to be a whole other question altogether. Like, the Force Fields will buy him time, the Immortals on the way, but the Immortals not going to clean this up. There's so many roaches that'll be already on top of it. So I say push this back, but he's not even going to do that. Just going to have to tap out. Game 1, ladies and gentlemen, will go to Liquid Snutes.